It was only a routine procedure. A minor border incident. A simple vote.
The vote tally solidified on the central dais. 612 for condemnation, 88 against. A routine administrative pruning.
By the authority vested in this council, the species known as humanity is sentenced to immediate sterilization. The vote is final.
Admiral Catherine bowed, her face unreadable, and transmitted a data packet before walking out. No protest. The chamber erupted. Delegates cheered. Holographic streamers burst, and the sound of triumph echoed.
It was done. It was easy. The humans would be erased, and no one would remember.
Then the lights died, ring by ring. The tiered seats went dark, leaving only the central dais lit. High Magistrate Kalor Veth gripped his console, his ancient face twitching with dawning horror as a message scrolled. The Earth hologram twisted. The verdict flipped, and a new word burned red. Incoming. Your vote has been registered. So has your address.
My address. They know where I live. This isn't a glitch.
Across the chamber, a cascade of chimes erupted as every yes voter received the same text.
Silence. I want a full systems diagnostic now.
The head technician's voice trembled. The message, it came from our own clerical AI. Someone's been inside for decades.
Decades. That means Earth started before we even made contact.
They pulled up the data packet Catherine had left. It wasn't a protest. It was a dossier. The names of all 612 yes voters. Their homeworlds. Their children's schools.
My parents are on this list. They're not even in the public record.
They didn't just infiltrate our vote. They infiltrated our lives.
The council was no longer the judge. They were the judged. The forensic sweep uncovered the full timeline. The intrusion was not recent. It was a legacy.
42 standard years. They planted it before we even made first contact. They were waiting.
Outside, the sensor board burned with new contacts. Earth's warships were moving, their jump coordinates resolved. Each vessel aimed at the home system of a yes voter.
My star is on that list? They're sending a fleet to my home?
The docket scrolled. At the bottom, a colony name blinked. Lyrath.
Lyrath. My grandson Taran is there. He's just a boy.
The chamber's panic collapsed into a suffocating silence. This was no longer a political crisis. 17 hours. That was the time until the first human warship emerged over a council world, and the council could only watch the clock count down. They tried every channel, every emergency frequency, every diplomatic backdoor. Nothing got through.
Open a line to Earth. I don't care if you have to scream into the void. Just do it.
The void screamed back with silence. Earth had jammed every signal. They were alone.
They hear us. They simply choose not to answer.
What have we done? We sentenced them to sterilization, like swatting an insect. We never considered they'd have fangs. We never asked what they could do in return.
In the silence, a question formed, colder than any transmission. You sentenced Earth.
We sentenced an apex predator and expected it to die quietly.
The ancient magistrate sagged, his circlet glinting in the dying light, and the countdown marched on. Each second a hammer on the chests of the guilty. The countdown halted, replaced by a galaxy-wide broadcast. Earth's data packet detonated across the network. Account ledgers froze. Assets seized. Every yes voter found themselves penniless within seconds.
My personal reserves, they're gone. Everything. My family's inheritance, wiped.
The attack wasn't only financial. Home addresses, family ties, school records, all broadcast publicly.
They're showing them my sister's school, my niece's location. Everyone knows.
The council chamber became a stage for global humiliation. Their names were tarred across 1,000 worlds.
I voted for a routine culling. Now my grandson is a target and my name is mud.
This isn't justice. It's psychological warfare. They want us ruined before they even arrive.
But there was no appeal. Earth's judgment was final, and the galaxy was its jury.
We became pariahs before the first shot was fired. That's their real weapon.
On Lyrath, the sirens began to wail. The sky cracked open with the roar of dying thunder.
Grandfather's voice echoed in his mind. They're just a minor species, but the sky was full of steel.
The massive vessels descended without firing. They came down like judgment, silent and deliberate.
Why aren't they firing? What are they waiting for?
The city descended into panic. Citizens fled, but the human ships blocked the escape routes.
They'll find us all. Grandfather's vote signed our death warrant. They'll make me pay.
A human voice broke over the comms. This is an evacuation. You will not be harmed. Cooperate and you will live.
Evacuation. They're not here to kill us? Or is that a trick?
The first landing craft touched down in the central plaza. Its hull steamed in the alien air. Terran braced for death. But the soldiers were not raising rifles. They were herding survivors toward the shuttles.
They aren't killing anyone. The soldiers are guiding, not gunning. This makes no sense.
He ducked back inside his home, snatching the holo recorder from his desk. The photo of his grandfather watched.
Grandfather, if you get this, I don't understand. They're evacuating the entire city. No one's been hurt.
Outside the window, a human soldier knelt to lift a child, her armor gleaming not with threat, but with purpose.
They look like protectors. But I am scared, Grandfather. What if this is just a longer death? We're boarding their shuttles?
He pressed send. The message compressed and shot into the void, a desperate flicker toward the distant council station. The crowd pulled him out again, a river of bodies flowing toward the shuttle's open maw.
Is this mercy or a cage? I can't tell, but I am alive.
The hatch sealed with a hiss. Through the viewport, Lirath's spires receded, wrapped in the shadow of human warships. His message hurtled through the void, a tiny testament to impossible mercy, bound for the magistrate's horror. In the silent council chamber, a lone signal pierced the jamming, a personal transmission from Lirath.
Terran, he's alive. They're not killing? How is this possible?
The message played on the central dais for all to see. A city in chaos, human soldiers lifting children.
They spared my grandson. But why? This is not the behavior of an executioner.
Before anyone could speak, the viewport blazed. A new message overrode the recording, scrolling in cold, precise script. We sentenced your crimes, not your children, yet.
Yet they left a trigger. They haven't finished. This mercy is a leash.
They've separated the sin from the sinner's bloodline. But the sinner still stands condemned.
The chamber froze. Every counselor stared at the viewport, their own names flickering behind those words like a promise.
What will Earth demand now? And what happens if we refuse?
A dozen voices erupted in the dark, some calling for counterstrike, others begging for a channel to Earth.
Fight with what? Our battle fleets are obsolete. Our intelligence was compromised decades ago.
The debate circled, but found no escape. Every option led back to the same locked door.
They could have killed us all. They had every reason. Why didn't they?
Because this is a sentence, not a war. They want us to live with the consequence.
The words squeezed the chamber like a fist. Even the whisperers fell silent.
He's right. We are not defeated enemies. We are condemned criminals.
The council saw itself in a new light. Not a government facing a rival, but a prison awaiting sentencing.
And Earth holds the key to our cells. We've done this to ourselves.
They waited in the gloom, their fates dangling from a thread named Yet. A column of light pierced the dais. Admiral Catherine's image materialized, towering 20 meters high, her gray eyes calm.
40 years ago, we saw your council for what it was, a court without law. So we prepared. You sentenced us to death for crossing a line we didn't know existed. Now we sentence you.
The chamber held its breath. Her words had no anger, only the terrible patience of glaciers.
Publicly revoke the sterilization order. Acknowledge Earth's right to exist without your permission. Do this, and the sanctions stop. Your families remain safe. Refuse, and...
She paused. The silence was worse than any threat.
And if we refuse, what then?
Then we finish what you started. Only this time, we'll be thorough.
The choice lay before them. Capitulate and live with the shame, or resist and watch their worlds burn. A defiant voice screamed from the shadows. We will not kneel to vermin, but the cry died alone.
Then let me clarify the price of defiance.
The viewport flickered. Live feeds from a dozen homeworlds, Earth warships hovering above capital cities, weapons hot, shields at max, the silence of a finger resting on a trigger.
They're already in position. It would take minutes to burn every major world.
You have 1 hour. Revoke the order, or we will ensure your legacy is only ash.
My pride against my grandson's life. My authority against the ashes of our worlds.
Kaelor's hand trembled near the console. The circlet seemed to sear his brow.
He's going to break. We all are. There is no other path.
The chamber stilled. Each second pressed upon them like a lid closing, the only sound the whispered count of lives.
So be it. We will revoke. Prepare the broadcast.
The words fell like a death rattle. A murmur of shock, then resigned shuffling across the tiered seats.
We're actually doing it. Trading our dignity for lives. Trading everything.
Across their communicators, the frozen accounts and humiliating dossiers still glowed, timeless evidence of their crime.
We can rescind the sentence, but we cannot erase the sentence on ourselves.
The technicians began the revocation sequence. Each keystroke a confession, each command a forfeit of sovereignty.
We'll be pariahs forever, but at least our families won't be ash.
The viewport displayed a new warning: revocation in progress. Earth ships standing by.
They are watching. They will always be watching. This is our legacy.
They were not absolved. They were merely alive. And the yet still hung in orbit. The floating verdict orb pulsed on its pedestal, the red glow a dying sun. Kalerveth approached it alone.
For 1,000 years, this orb meant absolute authority. Today, it means surrender.
His aged hand rose to the activation plate, hovering above the button. He saw not the console, but Taran's small hand, reaching.
End it. For all of us. Just end it.
He pressed down. The orb's hum pitched high, a scream of dying authority, then shattered into a million crimson shards. Light fled the chamber. The shattered pieces rained onto the marble like frozen blood.
It is done. The sterilization order is revoked. Acknowledge Earth's right to exist.
The broadcast ripped through the jamming, transmitting his broken voice across every star system. The galaxy heard its judge confess. The council sat in the wreckage of its pride, the empty pedestal a monument to their fall. And, still, the viewport displayed the silent promise. Yet, the viewport shimmered. The word yet, dissolving as Admiral Catherine's hologram solidified, her gaze unyielding.
Your revocation has been received and logged. Earth acknowledges your compliance.
The broadcast confirmation rippled through the channels, a galaxy-wide acknowledgement that the sentence was lifted.
Tell us plainly, is this over?
For now, sanctions are suspended. Your families are no longer in immediate danger. But Earth remembers every yes. We will be watching.
In a dark command station, a human diplomat allowed a cold smile. The watch had begun. Catherine's image faded, leaving the chamber colder than before. The viewport now displayed a rotating Earth emblem, a silent guardian over the council's proceedings. The delegates sat motionless, aware that every whisper would be catalogued by unseen eyes, and on their personal devices, the account locks blinked pending, forever ready to snap shut. The delegates rose in silence, their robes rustling like funeral shrouds, and withdrew to their embassies. Kaelor remained, a statue of regret on his high seat. Lyra Sen approached slowly, her footsteps echoing.
Magistrate, what happens to us now? To the council? To our people?
We will live with what we did, and we will fear them forever. That is what happens.
His words fell like stones into a void. The chamber absorbed them without echo, as if the architecture itself mourned. Lyra looked at the crimson shards on the marble. 1,000 years of authority, now a broken relic.
I wish I could say it wasn't my fault, but my vote was yes. I helped make this prison.
We all did. And now we all wear the chains.
Lyra nodded, a bitter acceptance, and turned to leave. Her footsteps faded into the dark, and Kalerveth sat alone, staring at the broken orb, the echo of his own gavel still ringing in the emptiness. A soft chime broke the emptiness. Kaelor's personal communicator flickered with an incoming signal from Earth's fleet.
Grandfather, it's me. I am on an Earth ship. They say I'll be released soon.
Terran, I nearly killed you with a single vote. I am so sorry.
You didn't know. None of us knew. But it doesn't feel the same anymore.
I can't undo it. I can only bear the weight.
They saved us. They didn't have to. That's what I can't stop thinking about.
Mercy from an enemy is the heaviest punishment. We will carry it forever.
Silence stretched between them, filled only by the hum of the Earth ship's engines.
I need to go. They're moving us to a processing station. I'll contact you again.
I love you, Terran. Beyond these new scars, beyond anything.
The day after the broadcast, automated arms began removing the seats of every yes voter. One by one, they vanished. Kaelor watched from his podium, the empty spaces multiplying like missing teeth in a skull. A human official entered, carrying a thin parchment, a non-aggression pact, written in both languages.
A treaty of equals. We both know this is a guarantee of your watchful peace.
The official said nothing, only held out a pen. Kaelor took it and signed, each stroke a surrender. As the ink dried, new letters blazed across the chamber's far wall, carved by Earth's systems.
You sentenced Earth. Earth sentenced you.
The empty seats bore silent witness. This room was no longer a council. It was a memorial to the price of arrogance.
They took our pride and gave us a scar. We will look at it every day, and they know it.
The human official departed without a word. The chamber was left in perfect, echoing silence, a tomb for a dead authority. A shiver ran through the chamber's dead systems. The air thickened, and a figure composed of fractured light coalesced before the empty dais. I am the echo of Earth's long patience. The final gift we planted in your house. This was not vengeance. It was a lesson written in your own code. 40 years in the crafting. You were weighed, measured, and found wanting. And now you know the cost of forgetfulness. Your verdict is revoked, but the memory will remain in every system, every ledger, every heart that bore witness. We do not seek your fear. We require your respect, and you will remember. Now watch. Your lesson is complete. The construct collapsed into a cascade of dying light, then scattered like dust. The systems rebooted, clean for the first time in decades.
It was never about destruction. It was a scaffold for our humiliation, built across 40 years.
They had planned for this moment before the Council knew Earth's name. And now the silence stretched not of fear, but of a future rewritten. His private quarters were dim, lit only by the cold gleam of distant stars through the viewport. Kaelor stood at the window, watching the distant Earth ships still holding their positions.
They are the new center. We orbit them now.
He turned from the viewport, his hands rising to his brow. The gold circlet came away in his grasp. He set it on the desk. The thin band of authority that had crowned his line for 1,000 years.
I am no longer the High Magistrate. I am only Kaelor, a grandfather who almost killed his own.
Through the viewport, the Earth fleet hung motionless, a silent, eternal jury.
They will watch us until the stars burn out, and we will never forget why.
The distant station orbited, a speck among the warships. One small room, one broken man. And in that room, the circlet remained on the desk, a golden ghost of a vanished age. On a green hill overlooking a calm sea, a human child watched the sky. She was alone, but not afraid. A silver craft cruised overhead, so high it was barely a whisper, a guardian returning home. She raised her hand, fingers aligned with the hull, tracing its path as if she could steer its course. The camera pulled back, the planet's curve swallowing the tiny scene. The ship became a speck, then a star. Earth rotated, blue and white, serene and silent, a world that had judged violence and chosen vigilance. In the databanks, in the ship logs, a single phrase pulsed. We remember they had not sought vengeance. They had sought a peace that would outlast the stars. The child lowered her hand, but her eyes, bright with that distant light, stayed on the sky. stayed on the sky, and Earth turned, its scars hidden, its memory eternal, a silent promise to the galaxy. Far across the void, the Council Station floated, dark, its viewports blind, its docks empty. One Earth vessel held position nearby, its hull glinting softly in the star glare. No other ships remained. The Armada had scattered to 100 watchful orbits. From the Guardian ship, a single pulse emerged, a quiet, repeating signal. It was not a threat, it was a heartbeat, a constant whisper. We are here, we remember. The station absorbed the signal and remained silent, a tomb for a dead authority. The Earth ship never moved. It would stay, a permanent fixture, a sentinel of memory. Inside, the empty chamber bore its inscription, the shattered orb on the floor. No one would forget. The pulse ensured it, echoing through the void like a commandment, and so the galaxy learned its lesson, written in silence and sealed with a merciless restraint. On Lyrath, the city stirred with life again. Its people returned, its spires unbroken. Kaelor Veth walked through the rebuilt avenues, his robes plain, his circlet gone. On a corner wall, a carving caught his eye, left by human hands during the evacuation. A simple design, an open hand surrounded by words he knew too well. We remember.
It was not a taunt, it was a vow, a promise that their mercy would not be forgotten.
For a long moment he stood rooted, the weight of memory pressing on his old shoulders. Somewhere beyond, a child laughed, the sound of a world healing, yet forever marked. Kaelor lowered his hand and turned away, his shadow stretching long on the ancient stones. And above, a distant glint, an Earth ship, always watching, ensuring the lesson endured. The galaxy had changed, and so had he.